What is one thing you think everyone should experience in their lifetime? Serious. Living alone. It's important to be able to take care of yourself. Overseas travel just to experience life/people/food outside of your local bubble. Being loved by someone and being able to show them love back. I think everyone should know what it's like to feel handsome or beautiful, at least once. Travel but leave at least one day where you roam around. No tours, get up when you want to, go in whatever shops catch your eye. Those are my favorite travel days, usually when I find the best food and trinkets. The Northern Lights. Working in the food service industry. A full solar eclipse. I saw one some 25 years ago in Belgium. Had to travel for several hours to get there. I remember the birds stopped doing their thing and acting like the night started. Sitting silent in the trees and the gras. Pure silence in nature while it was getting darker and darker. Then the beautiful eclipse. Amazing experience. Having those conversations with random strangers over a train ride or a trek and never meeting them again, but just remembering them when you narrate the story to somebody else and hope they are in good health. Build a fire. Raise/care for a plant/animal/person. Hike through nature. Make something useful. Cook a meal. Celebrate with others at night. Teach someone something. Being in love truly. Being skinny or fat and then getting into shape. Confidence can come a long way, but the halo effect is definitely real to a certain extent. Love of a pet. Heartbreak. I honestly think you really learn the most about yourself and what you want long term this way. Working on something you really like to do. Doing, creating, participating in anything that fulfills your interests. Doesn't matter if you get paid for it or not, although it's better if you earn money for it. Financial struggle. Most people will experience this, but everyone should. Especially people running for political offices. Failure. Not being stressed about the money, food and shelter in a long run. Unfortunately, most never will. The clear early morning sky and truly soaking the moment in. I'm talking an hour or two before sunrise. The colors of the sky become gradient. The west is dark and as stars, then the more east you look it becomes different shades of blue, then purples, then pinks, then reds. I don't know, but just it's truly beautiful when you really look at it and enjoy that moment. Being banned from a subreddit due to a mod that lacks critical thinking. It's a good reminder to be kind and understanding to everyone, lest you cause others to feel like you did, when improperly banned. Psilocybin mushrooms. Poverty. Not sightseeing poverty and going back to your hotel, but having to scrape together enough money to pay for food at the end of the month, and having to put back something because you can't afford it. Maybe some people would have more compassion and understanding. Solo traveling. Love. Ego death. Aurora borealis. Vacation with friends, beach, snowfall, good mental health, healthy relationships with people around yourself. Thumbing through old vinyl and discovering the one you never thought you'd see. Unconditional love. Acceptance. Therapy. The world would be a much better place if everyone learned to reflect on themselves and their own motivations. Freedom of not being overweight. I don't mean to shame anyone with this, but I have to mention it based on my experience. I was overweight for the 80% of my life. Since I dropped to a normal weight, everything in my life improved. Depression and misery, which I thought will be my companions for the rest of my life, are almost completely gone now. Confidence and quality of life skyrocketed. I can do anything and everything I want now. I can be outside in the summer and not worry about changing shirts every hour. I can climb every mountain I want to without getting seriously exhausted like I used to with the smallest hill. And being fit only keeps on giving. My medical situation improved. Back pains are gone. Heart and liver is returning back to normal based on my latest medical checkups. It's weird to describe, but yeah, I feel much more myself than I ever did before. Cuddling with someone you love. Followed by great sex. Followed by some snacks and more cuddling. Skydiving. I am afraid of heights and never had any interest in it, but an older colleague at work inspired me to give it a go. That 30 seconds or so of free fall were the most peaceful moment of my life. True friendships. Getting punched in the face after saying something offside. True love. Flying in an air balloon. It's really an amazing experience. A first kiss. Live in a different city/country. Scuba diving. The feeling of being in a different world and breathing underwater. Being loved by a cat. It's almost like a gift because you have to work at it to earn their trust. I have a dog too, but his love came automatic with taking care of him. My cat? She was still aloof until we finally hit that sweet spot in bonding. It's a different kind of companionship now, and she's so loyal and cuddly. Going anywhere by yourself. Like watch a movie, go to a nice restaurant, travel, etc. The amount of freedom you have not having to wait on anyone or feel forced to do an activity is amazing. Working fast food and retail/minimum wage jobs, everyone make it a requirement for like 6 months. I feel like everyone would be a bit of a better human being. Austere living conditions. I don't mean struggling to make ends meet, I mean off-grid, self-sufficient living for 30 days or more. It will change your entire perception of the frustration you face in regular society, and will also change the amount of stress you feel when money gets tight. I've survived worse. I can figure it out. On top of that, spending that much time with just yourself in empty wilderness grants an inner peace that's otherwise difficult to achieve. Number 24-hour news cycle. No TikTok conspiracy theories. Just an in-your-face reminder that there's a whole world out there doing perfectly fine without all the bullshit humanity invents for the sake of worrying about something. It can be as simple as a primitive campsite with fishing gear and a solar charger for flashlights/phones, or as complicated as a cabin with a garden and homestead. But once you spend that much time just living in nature, the rest of the bullshit seems so pointless and insignificant. It makes you more confident about your own ability to improvise and push through bad luck, which in turn keeps your mind calmer when things get tight. There's a whole vacation industry built around being a castaway where they dump you on a tropical island for however long you choose with the amount of assistance you choose. And aside from an emergency phone, it's just you, a hut, and nature. That's probably the easiest way to wade into it without leaving too many comforts behind, but it's also more expensive. Doing something valuable for a complete stranger without gaining profit for yourself. A pet death. Might seem odd, but I personally believe there's an order to death. When we're young or young adults, we may go through deaths of pets, grandparents or uncles/aunts. Then when we are middle-aged is probably when parents will die. Then once we are elderly, we may have to watch our spouse die. I believe each step helps prepare us for losing something more dear to us. Failure. It should happen early, and reasonably often. One of the biggest issues I've seen professionally are people who are not equipped to deal with failure properly. Traveling alone. The theater, especially local, got lost and forgot it wasn't some sort of unreal 3D 400K TV. Nope, real life, and so moving. Back pain. Excruciating, invisible, and lasting back pain to teach people that you truly never know the kind of pain someone might be in when they go about their day trying their best to show compassion and patience for others. Nothing teaches empathy like pain no one else can see. Traveling alone. It sounds cliche, but you learn so much about yourself when all external expectations of other people and your self-image and whatnot fall away. You come back and you know perfectly who you are. Would recommend doing this once a year if possible. Yesterday, a storm was about to hit a neighboring city, so it got pretty windy where I live. I and 2 of my friends went to the terrace of the hostel and just experienced the lovely wind as thunder crackled and lightning struck far away, lighting up the whole terrace momentarily, but frequently. I could see the trees and leaves dancing on their own. All while this happened, we were standing near the edge of the terrace, so there was a rush from that as well. Overall, 10/10ths experience. Happiness. Happiness, true happiness. VR. Put it on my grandparents, they were blown away. VR is pretty cool, you don't really understand how cool until you put on the headset, lol. I'm sure there are better things to experience, haha, but VR was the first thing that came to mind. A healthy relationship. Being in great physical shape. Something that takes your breath away and leaves you awestruck/speechless. For everyone those will be different things. For me it was being inside the Roman Pantheon, knowing the history that place has had. How many people have visited in the 1,500 years plus it's been around? What were the stories of all of those people? What business or what were their personal stories? Not to mention the sheer scale, size, beauty and majesty of it. Being single and not pursuing a significant other. I was always chasing my next girlfriend until I took some time to learn how to function on my own and realize what I actually wanted. My next relationship ended up being the one that lasted, and we've been married for 6 years. There is nothing more exhilarating than to be shot at without effect. Winston Churchill. Didn't believe it till I experienced it. Solar eclipse in 100% totality.